Hey everybody, G-Force 41 here with another PGA Tour 2K25 golf course design tip tutorial video for you. This is Quick Tips 25, and we are at Wheeler National, specifically Wheeler National 2, because when I went out to play Wheeler National, there was Wheeler National and Wheeler National 2. I figured this was the newer version. So, Four Wheeler is the designer, and he reached out to me on YouTube in the notes and the comments and asked me to play it, give him some tips. So quick tips is when we play a course, I give the newer designer some tips on their course, how to make it better, how to get it on the casuals golf club, casuals worthy, TGC Tours approved, or even better, TGC Tours worthy, which is very much tougher these days. Because they have so many great courses out there for you from you guys designing. So first tip from Mr. Wheeler here. First of all, thank you for being a viewer of the channel and sending in a comment and interacting, because it's a great help, and I love doing it, helping people out here. First tip is, what do we say all the time? Show off your work here. So this is a very flat tee box. I wouldn't say the tee shot is blocked, but you're not really showing off the work as much as you can. You're not showing off that fairway. Your first tee shot should always be painting a picture. Think of the amazing Arctic Fury, Architect Maze, Matt F27, B101. We say this all the time, guys. It is the most simplest thing. Make this first shot super appealing, and make it crystal clear. So, a couple things here. You could elevate the tee boxes a little. You can depress those tee boxes, move them off to the side, and lower that area. There's no strategic reason for that mound right there, right? It's just super flat. Why? Right? So you can elevate that a little, get those out of the way, and they don't look flat, to be honest with you. So always flatten your tee box, always test them. Okay, I'm actually going to go, whoops. See, it looks a little sloped. You can see the lines moving there, the beads. Always test this. It's instinctive that I do this on every tee box when I test my courses. Maybe I'll give you a tutorial on how I test my courses. Anyway, it looks blah, okay? I think I see some autogen planting here. Yuck, get rid of autogen stuff. Only use that around the sides, around the perimeter, to get free trees, so you don't use your meter and things like that. You always want to plant everything one by one. It doesn't look particularly sculpted. It looks very, very bumpy, and not in a good way. So this doesn't look smooth. So the general sculpting needs to be worked on. Even the fence here, it's crooked. It's up and down, up and down, up and down. You're not going to see a fence go up and down, up and down, up and down all the time. It might go up a little, down a little in general, but just take a look at any fence. This looks weird. This sculpting here, it's just too steep of a hill. If it's a real hill, make it a cliff. Make it kind of rocky. Cut into that side of that hill there, and this doesn't look very sculpted. So you've laid some basic ideas down. This looks like a good framework. I don't know where you are in your process, considering you're doing Wheeler 1 and Wheeler 2. Might be prototypes, kind of betas, not really sure. But let's get ripping. I might be on master settings, because I was testing my course. But, so I won't get to see how that fairway interacts. I think that tree is too close to the fairway there. A little bit. It's just no trees, and then one tree sitting there, and it's not, you gotta sink that tree a little, my friend. And bear with me, I'm just gonna check my settings 1 second. It's me, I'm back. I am on Pro. Just wanted to be sure so you're not watching me chase my ball all over the place. That is quite a small green. So measure your greens. When you set your greens, I measure out 15 yards in each direction. I just take the measuring tool. I go 15 yards that way, 15 yards up, 15 yards down, 15 yards this way. That doesn't mean it has to be 30 yards across, but that's an average green, 30 yards. Think about 3 club lengths kind of thing. That's what I do. If you're going to make them bigger, make it bigger. If you want to make it your test 20 yards, that whatever. But just have that for reference sake and a size reference for your green sizing. Not only is it small, there's nothing pinnable. I've noticed there's only one set of pins on this course. You're going to need 4 if you want your course taken seriously. I don't know where else you're going to put a pin here, whole location. So you got a small green, of which most of it's not pinnable, and it's going middle to back. Can a green go run off to the back? Yeah, a little. We've talked about that over the years. All right, so we've got a bunch of issues right off the bat. I don't see a whole lot of sculpting around those bunkers. Why we got grass in the middle. Now, I do that sometimes. Those bunkers are cool. But that looks not sculpted at all in any way, shape, or form. And you got that ugly rough going around it. We've talked about that before. I prefer light rough or no rough if your bunker is in the fairway. Have to go over bunkers again. Plant that grass well. Planting of the grass is huge to the look and feel of your course. So I see sporadic grass planting. That's not going to cut it. Okay. We got a farm over there. All right. So I like the out of the chute idea, but it's a little too claustrophobic. So those trees, I would say, in my opinion, are too big and too close in. I would shrink them and move them back a little. You want to shoot, but not that tight. Those are really just blocking you overhead. So you wouldn't ever see anything that kind of, obtrusive in your line, especially on a par 3. Again, this green is very, very small, and that bunker is not sculpted at all. Not sure what's going on there, my friend. Okay? So you've got to sculpt your bunkers. We've talked about that. Set your bunker area, set the land around it, use the range or the flatten tool, maybe both, and get, kind of an elevated little piece of land and cut your bunker with, I use the flatten tool to start, just to get everything flat. And then you got to go around it. So, am I hitting into that tree? I'm going to do it just in case. It's a hunt 2, I'm going to see, because that is a huge no-no, my friend. All right, maybe this is going to be a little lower. Did I get just under it? How do we do? Yeah, no, I got under it. Too intrusive on you. Don't get the grass overhanging the bunker, right? You got to be careful with it. I know the tendency is to spam plant. All right. You got some grid lines on these small greens. I'm not a fan of the grid lines. Depends on what type of course you're making. All right, did you work the cameras? If you work the cameras, don't make them too fast. If this is your camera, well, yeah, it's your camera. A little fast, a little herky-jerky. Not bad, though. All right, again, same problem. Show off your work. And look at those tee boxes. Those are not flat at all. Look at the one off on the right. So you've got to literally make them flat, but lower them. Or, kind of keep that visual intact because you're just barely seeing that fairway. This could be a very pretty visual, very pretty hole. As far as the trees go, I'm now looking at the planting. You've got a lot of green and just a couple of yellows and reds. I would say my advice to you, make up your mind. If it's going to be a fall course, go fall. If not, get rid of those because they look weird. They're not really blending in. And you got greens and then a red and a yellow. Not sure what's going on there. And be careful with the fall colors. You got to use a lot of browns and muted colors or it looks a little silly. But another big downhill shot. So general sculpting here, that's an odd bunker off to the right. That's a big hill. That's a little unusual. The classic advice, if you're a newer designer, you've heard me say this over the years, folks, can you get a mower on it? Taste GW. It's where I learned that. A lot of other people use that. I think Icy Ken told me he heard that from Yeltsin, or was it Arctic Maze? I'm sorry, Jesus. Architect Maze, sorry AM. Although it's not an insult to be confused with Arctic Fury. All right, so a lot going on here. This bunker is a bit of a mess. The green, again, is too small and too sloped for that size of a green. There's no pinnable area other than the one you've got, and this fairway is not meeting the green appropriately. So this is all basic design stuff 101, okay? This needs to kind of, enter in over here smoothly and over here smoothly. We've talked about that before, but let me play a few more holes and see what's going on. Oh, terrible putt. I'm looking at the telephone pole there, not looking at where I'm putting. All right, so we got a little bit better view off the tee, but you can see very, very lumpy. So you've really got to smooth this course out. You get out and sculpt those courses. Again, this is very bright. A lot of you newer designers, you have this very bright light you're designing in. I don't know if you touched the lighting. Don't go too low. I mean, I've talked about this before. People over rely on that low light. But again, this is just a very bright, washed out look. So it's not helping matters at all. So pick the afternoon, the morning. Don't go too much towards dusk or too much towards dawn. Try that out because that might help you. And always sculpt into the favorable light when you're designing. And then just move it back to your preset lighting. But this looks like it's going to run out. That's too big of a hill. People are not going to like this strategically. When you've just got a huge hill, that's just the ball's not going to stop. If you're going to do something like that, have the ball stop. Have a ramp and a runway where the ball's going to sit. Then it'd be a fun hole. If you can get it to that hill, it's going to run all the way down and just kind of sit in that flat area. Very odd shaped bunkers. It looks like a Wi-Fi signal over there. Over there. Again, so the bunker's not shaped into the green here. It's just a little odd. It's not bad, but considering the rest of the course, the bunker placement and the shapes are a little off. Okay. Oh, I caught a branch, huh? Caught a branch. We got a sailboat over there. Looking at that pond back there. Some minor planting going on. Not a good putt. Pulled it. If you notice my outfit here, I'm going a little old school because I'm getting ready to release Commonwealth Country Club Newton for 2K25, porting it over. Made some updates. Looking forward to getting that out to you all. That is a work in progress. Well, it's a course I put out in 23. A historical recreation of a semi-lost course. Again, so just very bumpy, lumpy. It doesn't look particularly natural or realistic, right? Take any hole that you play, go to your local course or look at your local course online, and just take a look and try to mimic that. You know, it doesn't have to be exact. Look at a course somebody else designed. You know, you don't have to be Architect Fury or Architect Maze, but take a look at the courses. Yeah, greens are just way too small. Again, so why is the hill there, right? So, again, show off your work. There's no strategic reason for that hill, I don't believe. And look again. What is that doing? There. You're going up, you're going down, and then there's a big hill, and then down. But that hill's not even anywhere in play. It's not in play off the tee, and it's not in play on the second shot. So, what's it doing, right? There's no, and it doesn't fit in with the rest of the landscape. You could have maybe a little hill. But again, make it make sense, right? I mean, don't just put random stuff in there. You know, there's not only is it a distraction, you know, it's just not going to help your replay value. If people play a course, they're probably not coming back for more when they see kind of crazy stuff all over the place. Okay. All right. Now this one looks a little better. This is showing your work off better. You've got tees in front of it, but you can see at least most of that fairway. So this looks a little bit better. This shot is framed a little bit better. The sculpting doesn't look horrendous. Still needs some work. That's a very narrow fairway. That's very bumpy. And again, yeah, you've got trees and stuff super close. Can you do that? Yeah, but you know, given everything else, it's downhill. Bumpy fairway and everything else, yeah, you know, you don't usually see anything that super close, and it's a narrow fairway. So if it was a big fairway, I could see. So you've got to space everything appropriately. Again, just look at your own home course, any course that you really like, anything from a really good designer. Of course, then if you put it that close, it could really help by ricocheting your ball out of the rough and it went across the rough. So again, you know, that's a little bit of a severe slope. You might be able to get a mower on that, but would you really want to mow that? Okay. And you've got, you know, cart path and fences and all sorts of other stuff. So, you've got electrical poles and other things. Focus on the course itself first. Make the golf work. Put a couple things out there and a couple things on the planning, but really focus on the golf. You've got grass pretty much on the green there, bud. All right. So we're going to take a look at one more. Triangular tee boxes. That's different. Okay, very different. So are we in a triangle? We're in a triangle. I don't think I've ever seen a triangular green. So this is a first. It is a quick tips first. Creative, yes. But again, what are you going for? All of a sudden we've got angles and geometrics. If you're doing some sort of fantasy course with crazy shapes and everything like that, go for it. But it was a normal course up until now, and then this is thrown in. So I would say I would stay away from that is my suggestion. All right. I'm just going to take a peek this hole before we sign off. Yeah, so more of the same. So the basic points here are there's a lot of beginner challenges with the course. We've got obstructed tee shots. We've got planting that is kind of sporadic, which isn't the biggest concern because I don't think the course is ready for prime time yet. There's general sculpting issues that you can work on, and basic just scale. Just it's either too narrow, too small. The greens don't work, so there's a lot of work to be done here. And my suggestion, watch a bunch of quick tip videos. Check out my videos on, greens, making your greens look natural. My bunker videos. Of course, there's everything by B101. I always prescribe a healthy dose of Ben and B101. And anybody else that's done, videos, Crazy Canuck. This is definitely a course by a brand new designer, which is great. Welcome to the community. You're going to love it, but there's a lot of work to be done and a lot to learn. So, four-wheeler, thank you for sending me this course and good luck. But get to work, my friend. And if you have any questions, reach out to me in the community. We're all here to help, and we'll help you along this crazy journey that's called golf course design. So that's all for now. This is Quick Tips 25. PGA Tour 2K23 GeForce 41 saying thank you for watching today. We'll be back with more real soon.